This One's Wife, William the Conqueror. India McTaggart in the Telegraph reports Prince of Wales wows crowds as he arrives in Singapore for Earthshot prize. Prince William, 41, said he hoped the Earthshot Awards will make a difference to climate change in the region. Prince of Wales, the immediate heir to the throne, out and about in Singapore, posing for selfies and, it would appear, receiving a warm welcome. What do we learn from all of this? Well, as per the standard categorizations that I utilize, William is a normal. This means that he has emotional empathy for a small group of people around him, and he will have limited emotional empathy for those that he interacts with. He is not driven by a need to control people. He's not driven by a need to receive fuel, character traits, or residual benefits. He can be manipulative, but he's not designed to be manipulative. And instead, he deals with people with a mixture of empathic and narcissistic traits. This means that, for instance, with regard to his family, he's loving and he's protective, but towards strangers, he would not necessarily go to the same lengths for them as he would for his family. It also means that he has no addiction to narcissists, making it more difficult for him to be ensnared. And that's why, no doubt, when this one's wife sought to ensnare him, either bringing him under control as a brother-in-law, or perhaps even going further by trying to make it intimate, he was not impressed and was able to resist because his judgment was not clouded, unlike his brother's, by emotional thinking. This appearance, of course, is problematic for this one's wife, because, with the Prince of Wales representing the one that got away and being married to the nemesis, any reportage about them causes wounding to this one's wife. For the most part, you would think, why get your panties in a bunch about what other royals are doing? Surely it doesn't matter that much. But it does to the narcissist, because it's reminding the narcissist that they're not the centre of attention, when, naturally, according to their narcissism, they ought to be. Thus, all of the people that are cheering and smiling at Prince William, in the world of this one's wife, ought to be cheering and smiling towards her, and the fact that is not happening wounds her. It creates a reminder of vulnerability, of weakness, of lacking importance, and therefore she positively cannot stand to learn of his success and popularity elsewhere. Her narcissism then is driven to act to nullify the threat to control posed by what William is doing with Earthshot. She's not in a position to hoover him directly by drawing his and the crowd's attention straight onto her by doing something with him. Not only would he be likely to reject that, the time and resources expended in that regard would be too great, and her narcissism would not lead her down that road. She can, of course, complain about it to Harry. Oh, look at him. Yes, he's going to be king. Doesn't he think he's great? But that wouldn't always necessarily find favour with Harry, because notwithstanding his behaviour, he may still have a degree of loyalty and look up towards his older brother. In some instances, however, he may agree where there's a reduction in his own emotional empathy towards his brother, occasioned by the repeated smearing that has been undertaken by his wife. More likely, what this one's wife's narcissism will do is attempt to cause her to bring the spotlight onto her and away from William. And thus, we saw it in immediate parts passing with her Las Vegas look at me. And you can expect more of the same in the course of the week. It might be some more PR puff pieces. It might be that we see a pap walk as she's wandering off to buy some cheese, or coming back from the bathroom somewhere. Or there may be some invented occasion that she has to attend, where she suddenly turns up doling out stale bread, or whatever it might be. But her narcissism is going to have to compel her to do something, because as you'll hear, the Prince of Wales is doing rather well in Singapore. Laden with so many gifts, which for a narcissist would be the provision of fuel, an aide had to step in and lend a hand. The Prince of Wales was greeted with a roar of rapturous applause as he arrived in Singapore for the Earthshot Prize ceremony. Now, were Prince William a narcissist, this would be a huge amount of fuel being provided by lots of tertiary sources, but all proximate. A sea of Union flags, which also would be fuel to a narcissist, could be seen rippling between the outstretched arms of royal fans waiting to greet the prince at Jewel in Changi Airport after he disembarked from his 13-hour commercial flight from London. No private jet for Big Willie Styley. Already, he is landing the blows on this one's wife, although that's not what he intends. He demonstrates that he's not such a hypocrite with regard to the environment compared to that of Slow and Ho, Hank and Skank. Furthermore, the fact that he is receiving gifts, that there are Union flags being waved, there's rapturous applause, all of which bolsters his popularity and throws into sharp relief the situation that is such a stark contrast for Harry's wife. The HSBC rain vortex, the world's largest indoor waterfall, cascaded down from the roof and was lit up in green to start the countdown to the 2023 Earthshot Prize Awards on Tuesday. Surrounded by lush green foliage and scores of water-flecked well-wishers, the atmosphere at the airport was electric as the prince made only his second visit to the Southeast Asian country. Gifts pressed into the prince's suit jacket-clad arms included knitted soldier toys, sustainable colour stencils, a handmade yellow helicopter, and a painting of the heir to the throne made by a 7-year-old girl. Can you ever recall any occasion where this one's wife has received so many gifts? No, you can't. Meanwhile, the applause to his entrance on the balcony overlooking the rain vortex waterfall had been so thunderous that his remarks to the accompanying state official were drowned out. As he waved to the hundreds of Singaporeans gathered to catch a glimpse of him, the 40-metre water display, the largest indoor waterfall in the world, was ceremoniously switched on, accompanied by dramatic music to mark his arrival. Many onlookers managed to achieve much more than a glimpse, as the prince conducted thorough walkabouts among the crowds, posing for selfies, making small talk, and even allowing an 8-month-old baby to affectionately suck one of his fingers. The family with the baby, named Albane Costa, happened serendipitously to be on a 3-day layover in Singapore from New Caledonia to France when they learned of his arrival. We just came here to see the Jewel and people told us that Prince William was coming. It's a real surprise, Mother Melanie gushed. The prince joked with one of the patient groups gathered, some of whom had been waiting for hours to see him. Do we hear of people waiting for hours to see this one's wife? No, we don't. Indeed, as was reported on in an earlier video, it was an icy reception that this one's wife had recently in New York. Contrast that with the welcome that Prince William gets. Upon his arrival, the prince said it's fantastic to be back in Singapore for this year's Earthshot Prize ceremony after 11 years. Singapore's bold vision to be a leader for environmental innovation sets the standard for others to follow. I am grateful to the Singaporean people for hosting us this week. Let us all take inspiration from the fantastic work being done here as we celebrate this year's Earthshot Prize finalists. His previous visit to the country was with his wife, then the Duchess of Cambridge, during the late Queen's Diamond Jubilee in 2012. The Prince's arrival for the 3rd annual Earthshot Prize Awards on Sunday came after Kensington Palace hinted that the highly celebrated green carpet ceremony could be hosted in Asia again. Speaking before his arrival, Hannah Jones, the chief executive of Earthshot, said, "We're thrilled that this is the first Earthshot Prize in Asia, but perhaps not the last." A Kensington Palace spokesman said the Prince is very determined that the Earthshot Prize moves around the world every year. What he wants to do this week is not just inspire people here in Singapore, but inside the entire region. The Prince's visit was also commemorated by the special planting of a native tembusi tree, which he was able to admire while touring the nature-themed green oasis in Singapore's airport. The new tree was planted to commemorate the trip because it's a well-known native plant to Singapore and one that features on the country's $5 notes. The special tree species was also chosen in tribute to the Tembusu sapling that the late Queen planted at Jurong Hill during her visit to Singapore in 1972. The Kensington Palace spokesman added, "This week we'll look to inspire not just the people of Singapore but the entire region with the 3rd annual Earthshot Prize. The presence of both the Earthshot and United for Wildlife in Singapore this week is indicative of the Prince's determination to shine a spotlight on sustainability successes in the region and to support innovative solutions for our planet's greatest threats." The Earthshot Prize takes place tomorrow. Hannah Waddingham is going to be the host. Winner announcers include Kate Blanchett, actor Lana Condor, wildlife conservationist Robert Irwin, and actor and humanitarian Nomzamo Mbata. Bastille and One Republic are going to perform at the event with the Singaporean Choral Society. Much bigger bash than anything this one's wife has sought to achieve, and the reception and the publicity is all favourable. Nobody ridiculing what William is wearing or what he has said. Nobody criticising his transport choice. So not only does this demonstrate the difference by which he, as a normal, is able to conduct himself compared to the middle mid-range narcissist that is this one's wife, it also shows, of course, that he experiences greater levels of goodwill compared to her and her declining popularity, which means that whatever she does, it invariably is met with considerable cynicism. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.